All right, so hi everyone. Welcome to another weekly or monthly video of Hayley and I. I'm Jenna from jennaleeblack.com and I've got Hayley with me from hayleyrich.com.
HayleyRich.co.
Oh, I went to hayleyrich.com and it worked.
Oh, yeah, because it's redirecting.
Oh, okay. hayleyrich.co.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk to you about selling authentically today because so many bloggers and coaches just struggle with connecting authentically and being able to sell without seeming, I guess, too salesy or pushy. And so we wanted to just give you some tips that we've learned along the way about how to sell authentically with heart and soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like a good starting point for us is to just look at how people perceive selling and why there's such an issue around it.
Yeah.
Some words that come to mind for me are like seeming pushy, seeming desperate, seeming like a car salesman, like all that kind of. Yeah. Is there any like things that come to mind, Hayley, for you that are like negative kind of connotation around it?
Yeah, just like oily sleaze bags. I think the main thing that I kind of think of when I think of like sleazy sales, and just people who aren't trustworthy, like people who perhaps overpromise and underdeliver. I think that's the real fear that people have out there, is really kind of just having that perception around their offerings. So
yeah,
I think that it's awesome that we can hopefully try and like help people get into a space where they can connect with people authentically, so that it's more, coming from a place of service, and just, I guess, everyone, or all of us, kind of being able to move past our own kind of blocks around selling.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely a bit of a hard thing to master, but once you kind of get through those blocks, it just seems it's that much easier to connect with people, and you're going to notice that people want to connect with you because they're going to see like an authentic, real you.
Yeah.
And I just put like a little quote together that I thought would be a really good opening quote. And I heard this the other day. I can't even remember who from, but it just really stuck with me. And it's, we either sell our souls or we sell from our souls.
Ah, I love it.
Yeah, so it's just kind of switching the mentality of selling is not meant to be this aggressive, pushy, kind of nasty thing. It's meant to be authentic. You're meant to show your integrity and just be genuine with it.
Yeah.
So sell from the soul. That's what we're going to start with.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that.
Yeah. And so, going from that, I think a good place to start if you're struggling with selling or you're finding it hard to kind of put yourself out there is to just look at how much value you have in your business and as a person, and what your audience, what value they'll get from you. So just being, coming back to understanding how important you are and how valuable you are to your people. And using that as kind of the foundation when you're selling to people. Well, selling, but not really selling, I think that's a really good idea to think about. Like, if the customer didn't work with you, how are they losing out?
Yeah, I love that, Jenna. I think it's really good. Like, it's kind of bringing it all back to like a place where you're kind of coming from. And like, I know it's going to sound a little bit hippie or woo-woo, but like just coming from a place where you're feeling really grounded about what you're doing. It's the grounded kind of energy, and slipping out of that kind of space of just saying, well, I really need to sell X amount, so I've got, X amount of money in the bank, to a place of, I have some real value to offer people and I can really help people. And so, by me sharing my gifts or what I have to offer in the world is actually going to be of benefit to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest blockage that people would have. And once you can move through that and understand your value, I think that's going to be so important. I mean, I used to struggle a lot with that. I used to think, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to, like, what if people just find me annoying when I'm trying to sell to them? And then once I realized how valuable what I was offering was and how I can really help them in their business and their life, that really helped me go, okay, it's not as scary as I think. It's not about being pushy. It's about just connecting authentically and giving value to people.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So it's really like that first step, I guess, is like a mindset kind of piece. So having
Yeah.
the right kind of mindset for selling,
Yeah. Oh, you're breaking up a little bit,
and
Haley. Oh no, you're right.
basically having a mindset around that. Is it all right?
I think you're back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We were having some
Cool.
technical issues this morning, so we might
Yeah.
drop in and
Sorry,
out.
dodgy internet on my behalf. So hopefully we're all. But anyway.
It's all right.
Yeah. So I was just saying, it's about that mindset kind of place to start. And then I guess all as in, yeah, kind of just like laying a really great and solid foundation.
Yeah.
From there, what I would say, from a more tactical kind of standpoint, once you kind of have worked on your mindset and your ability to offer value to people rather than selling to people, I think the first and most important step, which I think can be easily overlooked, is to like build relationships with people.
Yeah.
Because when you have like a solid relationship with the people who are in your community and they know you and like you and trust you, you hear the know, like, and trust factor.
Oh, you're breaking up again. Oh no.
Spoken about a lot. It might still be okay in the recording.
Yeah.
Generally it seems to be okay, but fingers crossed. Am I back?
No, you're right. You're back now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having that real know, like, and trust factor and building a relationship with the people who are in your audience before like selling, or at least alongside selling, is also really important.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's probably like the mindset, I think, is something that people need to get a handle on first. And then like when they move into a tactical side of things, I think that the first step is definitely that relationship kind of building.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing it as a long-term relationship. So not just going in on a Facebook group and going, oh, I helped someone today, so now I can start selling, or they're going to come to me. It's about being there consistently and consistently adding value and helping people out. And people see that and they're going to gravitate.
Well,
yeah. And then you're going to be building you're networking with those people, and you're building those relationships that are long-term. And long-term trust is so important for your business, because if you're like me, you don't want them to just come once. You want people to be coming to you in the long run because they really get value from you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jenna, what would you say are some of the ways that you would go about building relationships with people online?
So for me, I just am always trying to be there as the helper. I see people struggling or they have a question, I just jump in and, help them out if that's something that I am knowledgeable about. And just, I mean, that's really it. That's the foundation of my marketing approach, is to just give value and be that person that people will know that I can help them out and get them on the right track.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about you?
So through Facebook groups, so jumping in and you are really good at that. I see you around a lot, like helping people out.
Yeah.
With their questions about, marketing and content. And, I think that that's really helpful to people. So I think that that's one way that is really great to go about, building relationships and trust with people. I mean, I would say blogging is definitely a really great way to build relationships with people, and blogging kind of consistently and with your kind of dream clients in mind. So like really kind of coming at it from a real place of compassion and understanding of what it is that they're having trouble with, and trying to offer up, as many solutions as you can through your blog.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so providing really valuable content on your blog is also a really great kind of way to offer value. Similarly, I guess your newsletter. So when you are building an online business, obviously one of the key objectives is to grow your email list so that you have, prospects who you have direct contact to all the time. And once people are on your newsletter list, what you really want to do is nurture them. So you might often hear of people in marketing talking about a nurture sequence, and all that basically is constant kind of contact with your email list, the people in your community, where you're giving them consistent value. So sending out, a weekly or a fortnightly or a monthly newsletter is also a really great way of offering value to your people. And some of the ways that you could go about doing that, there's all different kind of ways that you could do it. So, some people like to write, a blog post in itself as a newsletter. Other people, which is what I'm kind of opting for at the moment, create more of like a roundup of, their latest content, kind of all in the place, and it gets sent straight to the newsletter to the person's inbox. And, from there they can choose which articles they want to click through and read. So, there's a couple of different ways you can go about that too.
Yeah, but I think it is really important to focus on building that email list. I think a lot of people go, oh, do I have to do it? Everyone does it. But it's so vital because you have direct contact then, and it's a really great way to just have more of a private conversation, I think, with your people as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the benefit, I guess, of that too, obviously, is that you own it, as opposed to building, a social media following where you don't the list. So, that email list is definitely like one of the really key kind of parts of relationship building and nurturing a relationship with your audience.
Yeah, exactly. And within that, I mean, it doesn't always, you can add in your kind of authentic selling into your newsletter as well. It doesn't have to just be your latest blogs or anything. Like Hayley does it really well. You have a bit at the end, which kind of wraps up your services as well, but you've given so much value before that. So, and it's just a nice kind of subtle feminine way, an authentic way of saying, if you would like further help, jump on board. Or learn more. So you can definitely use that list as a platform to sell as well. But it's obviously the goal is to give value and to just be there for them as they go.
Yeah, definitely. And like within your newsletter as well, you can send out to your email community or email list, you can send out sales newsletters. So newsletters that are specifically with the objective of selling a product. Like I would just say that it's something that you don't want to do consistently, or as the lingo, I guess, or the vernacular is, like burn your list. I think I've heard people say before. So like really tie them out of sales messages. And I think that that's probably something that you go off your gut with. Like I definitely stages where I'm like, okay, too much sales. I need to pull back and refocus on offering value. And just making sure that, it is always value first. Absolutely, like you can still definitely like sell in your newsletter directly as well, but just making sure that that's not always your primary focus.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I know I definitely unsubscribe when I start getting more than 2 or 3 in a row, which is salesy. It's like, I don't, I don't care. If I want to find it, I will go and look for it. One's fine, definitely, but definitely not too often.
I
just want to talk a bit about just being aware of like kind of unconscious sabotage as well when it comes to selling, because I think it's so ingrained in us I know from a kid, like the money issue for me. I always had issues with like the value of money and how much I'm worth, and I'm still dealing with stuff like that. And so I think it's really important to just be aware that you're like subconsciously you might be going like thinking these thoughts, and to just come back and be present. And know your value and work from there. Again, we're talking about mindset here, but I think it's really important to not kind of self-sabotage yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think that, some of the obstacles that kind of arise for people when it comes to selling something online or selling, their services online are perhaps around, people pushing. You kind of hear a lot online. Well, I know I have in this time that I've been, blogging and in the world of like online business, I hear a lot of people saying, you've got to know your worth, you've got to sell your worth. And people automatically think that that's, some really high and astronomical number. And that itself, if you're not feeling in alignment with the figure that you are offering to people, that in itself can kind of be a block. Like you kind of subconsciously do whatever you can to not get people buying from you at that kind of rate if it's really high, because you're not comfortable yourself with it and you're not feeling like, yeah, in alignment with it. So I think that, you know, some of the advice out there is to start really high, and I would tend to disagree with that. So I think that, you know, particularly when you're starting out in something that's completely new to you. So if you're a brand new health coach and you've never done health coaching before, you know, jumping in and offering, you know, $150 to $200 per session may not feel in alignment with you. Like, exactly. It may, and if it does, then that's fine. That's great. Go ahead and charge what you feel like you're in alignment with. But if for you right now, charging $60 a session, or maybe offering 3 free sessions to 3 different clients just to kind of help you get, you know, practice, get some testimonials, experience some really great feedback, is totally okay too. So you kind of have to start at the level that you're comfortable with.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then just keep in mind that you can grow and you can, you know, raise your rates quickly as long as you're, you know, consistently feeling in alignment with.
Yeah. And if you don't feel in alignment, or you're feeling funny about it, you're not going to be able to really sell that well. I think that block's going to come in.
Yeah,
and definitely, like, when I was health coaching, I started really low. I think I was at $60 or $70 an hour, even though where we studied, we were taught to maybe charge double that. And yeah, I was like, it's not really right for me. I feel like I just want to put my feet in the water a little bit. And this is the price that feels comfortable right now. And then that worked. And then I built from there, and then I started elevating prices. But yeah, I mean, it all comes back to what you feel comfortable with, and you don't have to listen to what other people say to price your programs at. It comes back to your intuition and your comfort level.
Yeah, definitely. I heard, I really like that, what you sort of just said then, Jenna, about, like, you know, starting where you were and then you kind of raised your rates quickly in alignment with, you know, how you were feeling and your experience. And it reminds me of something that I read. I think I read it or heard of, like, it might have been in a podcast with Denise Duffield Thomas.
Yeah.
She was talking about I love her. She's just so funny. She was talking about how she started out, I think her life coaching sessions were about $45 per session or something. So she started really low, yet she has grown her business to be, you know, a multi-6-figure business within the space of about 4 years. But what she did was she started really low, at a rate that she was really comfortable with, and she just raised her rates consistently and, like, relatively quickly. So I think she was saying, like, you know, every 3 months she would raise her rates. So maybe after 3 months, her $45 quickly became $90. And then after another 3 months, her $90 became, you know, $150 or something like that. So she was doing it at a rate that she felt in alignment with, but she was consistently raising her rates still. So I think that that's really important. And again, like, you know, for me, I didn't start with relatively low rates. I think my initial rate for life coaching was about $100 kind of per session, but before that I'd offered free sessions. So I had
so you built your way up.
I had about 3 different clients, I think, that I coached for free, just to get some experience and to kind of get a feeling for, you know, what I was doing and confidence in putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And I found that really helped, and I got testimonials from them, feedback, and like that helped me to kind of get started. So I think that in that kind of mindset sort of category, just, you know, starting where you're ready is okay. And it's better than, you know, not starting at all. So I think, just make sure that you're kind of consciously, like, moving yourself forward. But, like, just giving yourself the opportunity to get started in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good point. I just want to talk again, like, going back to, I guess, more around the mindset and connecting with people. And just going back to kind of embracing your own personal style of selling. As well. And just being, you know, like, there's so much out there online, especially if you're a coach, which I know probably a lot of you are, is that you just get comparisonitis, and there's so many people doing it this way or that way. And I know I go through it. I go, oh, maybe I'll try that. And it's good to get ideas and bounce ideas off other people. But I think as well, you always have to just be talking and networking and engaging with people in your own voice and your own style. just coming back to that place of integrity and just being your true self. And that's going to really resonate with people, and you're going to just build those relationships. And I think it's a great platform to get you used to selling authentically as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think in that kind of same bracket, I guess you would say, like being curious as well is also a really, I guess, great advantage. It's something that my boyfriend Will talks about a lot. Like, he has to use it a lot in his career in advertising. But just having a real kind of curious approach to what you're doing, and always kind of being open, and I guess just coming from that place of being really open to what else is out there. And by that I mean kind of not coming across as closed or arrogant, or, just like really kind of, I can't think of the right word right now, but like just very, I think it's didactic.
Not open to learning or that kind of. Yeah.
So kind of like, I guess in a sense, like when you're talking to people, being curious, asking them questions as well to like build engagement with your sales messages. So, not just kind of saying you need to buy this, or, your life's going to end kind of thing. Like, that's what I kind of mean. Like, so don't just sort of go all hard out and just be like, sell, sell, sell. It's kind of like, opening up a conversation with people, and
definitely.
Offering something at the end of value to them is also kind of a good way to kind of position yourself.
Yeah, people want to engage, and they want to be working with other people, and they want to have those genuine conversations. So it's a really great way to open with a question, or to if you're networking or engaging on, say, a Facebook group, just ask people questions, and always be that curious person that's learning and learning from your customers as well.
Yeah.
And you will. I always learn from my customers and my clients, because they're giving me little nuggets of gold that I wouldn't have even thought of. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So
definitely,
it's a two-way street. So
for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think that like the process of like starting your own coaching business, and being a blogger, somebody who is out there in the online world, it's very humbling. And you very quickly realize, what you don't know, and what your customers, like you've just said, Jenna, like what your customers or your clients are really looking for. And it really does kind of help you kind of soften a bit in a sense, and really kind of come more from that place of compassion and offering people something of value to them. And I think that's really important.
Definitely. One of the best things you can do is just ask people directly what they need, what their frustrations are, what their concerns are, and use that information that you get from them to form the basis of what you offer, or what you blog about, or how to sell as well, like how to sell authentically, because you're talking to them about real issues that affect them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And if you have trouble like blogging from that place, so if you're it can be very different. Like if you're a blogger who has just started a blog because you just want to blog, obviously kind of keeping an ideal client in mind is just going to not be that helpful for you, because you just want to blog because it's your creative outlet. But if you're blogging because you want to build an audience of people who may be interested in your services or like information products, so you've got a specific kind of business and a specific kind of niche in mind, and you struggle with kind of getting into the head of your clients, and you don't feel like, you're trying and trying and trying, and you're not kind of getting that engagement that you need, I think that that's a really good place to actually just kind of put your hands up and say, okay, I need help. So go and get help from somebody who can help you to kind of identify who it is that you're actually talking to, and also do your own research. So really start to think about it. Ask people questions, interview people who are, your ideal clients, do some journaling exercises, questions around, around them, because it really does help. Or, for example, and I'm saying this from my own experience too, because having like changed direction a lot for me, I kind of like got to a place where I was like, I just don't know what people want. And I was really kind of blog for an audience. It wasn't until I actually went and I got some SEO help. I got some help from Shay Baxter.
She's awesome.
Oh, she's incredible. That I actually started to get some ideas for content that were actually like going to be useful.
Yeah, and in alignment. It's such a good
Yeah.
point though, because I've changed my business direction as well, and
Yeah.
I'm now coming to a place where I am understanding again who my next client is in this new business that I've built.
Yeah.
But it's completely different to the people that I was talking to before. So if you're like us
Yeah.
and you've kind of changed direction, or you're just starting
Yeah.
out, or no matter where you are really in your business process, it's always good to kind of go back to basics and reassess, like, am I sending the right message? Am I talking to the right people that I want to connect with?
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's when selling becomes just real, and it's authentic, and there's no kind of blockages in the way, because you're just having conversations really that give value. So
yeah, it's based on that real connection with people and giving
yeah,
them
and the right people as well, the right people for what you have in your business and what you're offering. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
cool.
And I think, I mean, like, it kind of sounds like it's a bit of a minefield, but I just think that, you really need to be able to sell kind of authentically. For most people, you really do need to kind of do that groundwork and really get to know clients, and just be very thoughtful about what you're doing, to be able to connect with them properly in order to
Sure, yeah. And you mentioned journaling, which is a really important part, going into the mind of your prospect and your clients, and thinking like, what is their kind of their issues, their concerns, what's their day like, how can I fit in there and help them?
Yeah.
And just going back to thinking like in their mindset, I guess, and in their shoes is really powerful. It'll take a little bit of work to get used to that and to writing from their perspective, but it's so powerful. It's one of the best things I've done from doing that exercise. And I always do that, like, throughout the year to if I'm feeling a bit like muddled or confused, I come back to that, and I come back to what my clients are after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're absolutely spot on.
I just wanted to talk as well about, I guess it's another kind of mindset shift here, but talking about changing the terms of selling and sales into more sharing and serving.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, because I think just the word sales and the word selling it just has negative connotations for many people.
Yeah.
So if you can just look at yourself as, like a trusted advisor and like a value giver, and you're sharing and serving your community, I think that's really going to help you when you're approaching a time when you are selling or your products or services. You're going to feel a lot more natural doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
You're like breaking down those barriers of this kind of icky feeling of selling, and it's more authentic and genuine.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that in itself can be really, really powerful for people, just getting out of that space of feeling like, I don't know, like it can be harder when you are the person, you are the offering. As a service-based business, it can, when you're positioning yourself as selling yourself, that can be difficult and can be quite a block for people. So I really love that, like coming from a place of sharing and serving.
Yeah.
Really
just changing the mindset of it.
Yeah.
It all comes back to mindset shifts, I think, with
it
selling.
Does. It does. And compassion for the people that you are helping.
Yeah.
Really. Compassion and understanding. So, I think that's really important. So mindset shifts, I can't remember what the first one we spoke about, Jenna, because I just wrote mindset, but there was one.
Just looking at it as in, what are your core values and how are you adding value to your clients? And also asking yourself, if your client didn't work with you or didn't choose your product, what's the cost to them? So how are they going to be missing out? And when you realize that, then you're going to want to share your message and share your value with them.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I think that's a really great point. So I think that's important mindset step number one, just to kind of recap so you can keep track of where we're at, guys. Mindset point two was around, the unconscious kind of blockages.
Sure, sabotaging yourself and...
Yeah, and just kind of, starting where you're comfortable and building yourself up from there.
Yeah.
Also really, really important. And then point 3 when it comes to mindset is sharing and selling. Sorry, not sharing and selling, sharing and serving rather than selling directly.
Yes, yeah.
Just kind of rethinking the way that you approach your sales and really coming from that place of, and to be honest, I tend not to like the word service specifically. It's just like a word that doesn't really resonate with me personally. But I don't know, maybe it just makes me feel like saying that makes me feel like a servant. I don't know. But
I have the same thing when I have it on my website services, but it doesn't really connect with me. Maybe we can think of a different way, word.
Yeah. But but I know a lot of people do resonate with that word.
Yeah.
And I think, just really coming from a place of offering value to people.
Yeah, that's the biggest
other
thing.
People. Yeah, rather than thinking of it as straight up selling, I think is really important. So, there are 3 really key kind of mindset or kind of tweaks to kind of make.
Definitely.
Do you have any other mindset points, Jenna?
I think that's pretty much the key things that I've worked on for myself and that I find to be really powerful.
Yeah. Definitely. I would agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I'd love to also just kind of talk about a few tactical things.
Yeah.
So we kind of spoke before about like the first step, building relationships. But I believe that there's such an importance of kind of both the yin and the yang, like in online business. So like really kind of exploring the mindset and the soul side of things, because without all of that and without that as like a real kind of foundation, you kind of just, if you're stuck, you're not going to get anywhere. But then I also think that, once you've got that kind of mindset sort of down pat, then you also need like practical steps to kind of help you move forward too. So I'd love to kind of, also just talk about, maybe 1 or 2 kind of practical steps aside from on top of relationships that people can use to kind of serve or offer value.
And actually implement what we're sharing with you, because it's the hard part is the mindset shift, but then you have to go and practice it and you have to put it out there. So
yes. And you know how to do it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the points that we did cover though with practical steps are engaging with people on social media. And throughout your blog and newsletter.
Yeah.
I think they're the 3 kind of key points online as well. Your blog, newsletter list and social media, and just engaging, networking. Being really present and just listening really deeply and being aware of what kind of questions are coming up and what people are saying.
Definitely.
Being the value giver in that situation.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. And I think that that relationship building stage can be like a really kind of key, I think I kind of mentioned it before, it's just a really key kind of stage. And in some cases, like not all, but like I think in some cases, especially like if you're just starting out wanting to blog first to build relationships, it's important to kind of just understand that relationships really do take time to build. And, there are some illusions out there about, how easy and how quick it can be for everyone to start an online business and to, become an overnight success. But, in reality, even overnight successes have been at it for a really long time.
Sure, yeah.
And this is another sort of area where it was really humbling for me, because I was under that illusion too, that it would be really easy and that I could just, go out there and become an overnight success. And, in reality, 18 months later, I'm still here and I'm still working really hard every day to kind of, get things going and to keep things going. But, when you love what you do, it's all worth it. But just realizing that, those relationships really do take time.
Absolutely,
a commitment to just showing up and offering that value.
Yeah. And looking at it as a place of when you're networking and engaging and building those relationships, you want to be aiming for a long-term relationship. With your client and your prospect, or even if it's just someone who wants to read your blog for years, but you want to be building it as it's going to be a long-term relationship with the 2 of you, and you're going to give value that whole time and continually build that connection. Rather than a quick fix, because there's not really, most businesses aren't really about a quick fix sale. It's about having people come back and being loyal.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think I can't remember the statistic, but I read somewhere once that sales and, quite a lot of people's like revenue, quite a lot of a coaches or a consultant's revenue actually comes from repeat clients.
Yes.
It's like something like 70 to 30% or something like that. So a lot of your clients may actually be repeat clients, and that figure may differ because obviously everyone's different. But, from my own experience, I can say that, many of my clients have like re-signed and some for like long term. And, it just goes to show that how important it is to kind of really, really want to like build those relationships with people, and offering value, doing your best in your work as well. So focusing also on the clients that you have now, rather than also getting, so flustered about getting out there and just marketing yourself all the time.
New people all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is obviously also important. You need to get out there and be bringing new people in, new traffic to your website, new prospects through other kinds of relationships. But just having that real focus on offering value to your existing clients is incredibly powerful, because not only will they, potentially re-sign with you if they, continue to need your services, but, they can also spread word of mouth, which is also a very powerful selling tool.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Not people realize that word of mouth is actually, a very powerful selling tool. So, it's also really great to kind of, do your best by you.
Yeah. And I think that's really important when you said don't put all your effort. So once you get a client, don't just put them to the side and go, now I'm going to get my next client. I want to get my next client, because yeah, exactly. They are the people that are much more likely to come back and to tell their friends and family about you. So powerful. So just nurture those relationships. Every single relationship is important, and you should treat it that way.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Okay. And so once we've kind of like, gone through like relationship building at the beginning, so doing that real groundwork, so helping people out through Facebook groups, or like in real life, when you meet people through regular content and like blog posts, also through regular consistent newsletters, and also networking. The second step obviously then is to really focus on providing value to your clients, your existing clients, and, doing your absolute best by then. A third point, I guess, is kind of around actually like positioning sales copy online. I think that that's a really important one to kind of think about as well. And we kind of already spoke about this before, Jenna, like when we were talking about, asking people questions and engaging them in conversations. But you can create sales copy that is very similar to, just genuine kind of engaging questions as well. So I think that the real key to, writing copy that sells is to keep your clients in mind and really kind of highlight the benefits and what they are going to get out of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Focus on the benefits and the outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and using those emotion-driven keywords that are going to connect and resonate with them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's where, again, it really comes down to back in the basics, having that real key understanding of who your clients are, their problems and their challenges, and, being able to help them. But something that I want to highlight that I see a lot of people doing is they kind of just talk about things from a tactical point of view. So it's just like, sign up for my free video because I've made a video.
Yeah. Like, what am I going to get from that?
Yeah, that kind of thing doesn't speak to people. No. So it's about being very purposeful and intentional with your copy, and like we've sort of just discussed, talking about what your clients are going to get out of it, or your prospective clients are going to get out of it, and positioning it that way. So, you may mention as like an after effect or towards the end, like in the call to action, that you are going to like sign up for my free video or something like that, but you're not going to start off with sign up for my free video.
Yeah.
Because I created a video for you, because no one is going to engage with that, and it's not demonstrating that you really understand, you know, any kind of problems that they might have.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. It just comes back to being authentic and I use this tip when I'm struggling to create copy for like maybe a sales page or something like that, or a blog even. I just think about writing to one person. Yeah. And I just think like, who is my ideal client? Or it might even be a client I already have. And I just think about, okay, just pretend you're writing to that one person.
Yeah.
And having a genuine conversation with them and engaging and giving value. And that's so helpful, because I think it's quite overwhelming sometimes to come up with copy, especially for like a sales page for a program or something. And you're like, oh my God, how am I going to make this seem genuine? How am I going to connect? Yeah. There's so many people that might read this, and again, you kind of self-sabotaging yourself as you go. So I think it's important to just focus on the one person and build that kind of genuine relationship into the copy as well.
Yeah, definitely. Or like just think about writing to a friend as well.
Yeah, a friend, yeah.
Probably a friend who is like your ideal client. But like for me, when I sit down to write something, like I quite often start something with, hey friend, just because I don't know, that feels good to me. But like starting off that way kind of gets me into like that light and bouncy mood anyway. When I'm writing something, it's like, hey friend, okay, what would I write if I was writing to a friend in that kind of tone? And it's just like writing about things in like a happy and playful tone for me.
Sure, yeah.
It helps me write. But a really great technique that I saw on a blog the other day, Claire Pellitro's blog. Jenna and I are both fans of Claire's blog.
Love Claire.
But Claire wrote a really great blog post the other day talking about, it was the 2 keywords that changed like her copywriting life. Did you see the article?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I really, really loved that. So she was talking about 2 kind of key components in one sentence that will help people sell. And so she was saying that it sort of starts with a something kind of mysterious, like one key component. The beginning of the sentence is kind of a bit of mystery. And an example of that she used was, can you think of any off the top of your head? No, she used examples from Laura Rhoda, and I think the first example, so Laura Rhoda is a social media expert, so her sales pages are going to be around, obviously, business owners who want to learn more about sales. So the first part of it, one example I can remember, was why the sales page is dead. And so straight up people are like, oh, okay, why is the sales, no, not the sales page, sorry, the sales funnel. Why is the sales funnel dead? So that's,
it goes against everything we think, and it's a different concept.
It's like mysterious, and it's something that people want to know. Obviously, they're in her target market. They're like, oh my gosh, why is the sales funnel dead? Like
I've still got mine.
I've learned how to create one. Like, now what do I need to do instead? So it's why the sales funnel is dead without telling people why. And then her key was to include the words so that between the beginning and the end of a sentence. So this specific example, so that doesn't really fit, but like another example she had, like as a beginning part of a sentence, was like my secret party formula or something to help you XYZ. So it's like showing them a little bit of mystery, and then something that they want to know, and then explaining why they need to know. Yeah. So the so that precedes a why. Yeah. So what you need to know without giving it away, and why you need to know it. So they're 2 really key components to a more tactical kind of approach to selling and just understanding like the. So
it's a really good way to approach your like sharing links on social media as well. If you want people to come back to your website, just use that kind of technique of building that mystery and using the so that you can blah, 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 blah. And it's just a really great way of getting people to click the link and come because they're interested, they're intrigued. You've kind of built that curiosity as well.
Yeah,
it's really powerful.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, and I tried applying that this week. I applied it to my opt-in, like my free gift on my website because I've just changed it. And I found it really helpful to kind of think about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So like, you know, creating a mystery and then explaining why, or like explaining what they'll get from knowing what this is. So
yeah, it's a really great approach. Just always going back to what's in it for the customer again. I know we drill that in, but it's so important because they want to know what's in it for them. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And kind of just like a caveat, I guess, to the discussions around like knowing your ideal customer. Like I know we briefly mentioned before that, you know, if you're just starting out a blog for a blog's sake and something that's like your creative outlet, obviously having an ideal customer in mind isn't going to be such a key kind of consideration. But again, if you're brand new and you are starting, you know, a blog or an online kind of business, but it's all completely new to you, you don't have to know who your ideal customer is straight off the bat. Like, it's easier if you can kind of do the research and start from the beginning, like start to kind of cover that or understand that from the beginning. But the real kind of clarity comes from actually getting out there and interacting with people, working with clients. That's what will help you get the most clarity about what they want and, you know, the problems, the challenges, the questions that they constantly have. So, you know, doing some research at the beginning is definitely helpful, and I would say vital. But it's also not something that's necessarily going to be completely finished just by doing research.
Don't get caught up in the whole, oh, who's my ideal customer? I need to know this first. You don't need to know that first. It'll come. As Hayley and I said, we've changed our business ideas and we're still, you know, kind of navigating around it. And well, for me personally, I'm still figuring out my current business model, who my ideal client is. And it comes with, like you say, engaging and being, just networking and getting out there. Yeah. And hearing from prospects directly what they want. So it's going to really help you, but don't get caught up in don't like stop moving forward just because you don't know your ideal customer. It's, you know, it'll come.
Definitely. So, I think that's kind of key with everything. Like if you're not sure, just go ahead and just do
keep
something.
going.
Figure it out along the way. Like maybe that's the kind of person you are. Maybe you need to figure things out as you're like, you know, knee deep in it. I definitely do. Like I have to do things and figure it out along the way. So,
definitely.
That's just something I wanted to add to that. So, was there anything else tactically that you can kind of think of, Jenna, that you wanted to sort of discuss before we wrap up?
I mean, not really. I think we've kind of covered a lot here. I think for me, starting with the mindset shifts is going to be really important, and tactfully just being quite consistent as well, I think. So don't look at this as a lifestyle kind of change of how you're going to sell, and don't think that you can just network once a week or for 1 hour a week or something. It's a kind of constant thing, and it's about engaging and just having genuine conversations. It shouldn't feel too much like work. It should just feel like, you're going and chatting to new people and like hearing from them and engaging. So I think just being consistent with it and just being genuine at the end of the day. It's all about just being genuine, being you. Definitely.
I love around the topic of consistency. I love Alexandra Franzen's kind of key theme or message at the moment of devotion. Like she talks a lot about just being like really devoted to the work that you're doing, and just that, I guess, consistency really plays into that for me. So and it's going to come back to whether you're in the right business doing what you love, because if you're like Hayley and I, you don't feel like you're working, you're kind of absorbed in it all the time because you love it. But that's something people need to pull your fingers away from the keyboard like they do for me.
My boyfriend, he gets home from work, he's like, stop working. Like, it's not work, I love it.
Exactly. So anyway, okay, awesome. So just to recap like everything from our discussion today. So we first started talking about mindset. So we spoke about 3 kind of key areas in mindset, which are around adding value to people, and coming more from a place of, well, what's it going to cost people if you're not kind of offering up what you have to offer. We spoke about unconscious blocks that you may have that may be like, holding you back, and just about getting out there and actually starting at whatever level of, coaching kind of rates, for example, that you're at, like just starting where you're ready to start and building up from there consistently. And then the third, was sharing and serving, as opposed to just thinking about selling as selling. So again, coming back to that real kind of value for people, and thinking about the value that you can offer others.
Yeah.
Then on a tactical side of things, because that's the way my brain works, I have like the two extremes.
Action steps. Love a good action step.
We spoke about relationship building, and some of the examples that we shared were through Facebook groups, through consistent blogging, through newsletters, and through networking. Point 2, I have just written providing. What was that? Providing value, maybe?
I think just providing value and just being
consistent showing value.
Yeah.
That might have been it. Although that's not so much a tactical point, but I'm sure we did discuss that in there somewhere. That was probably just me absent-mindedly taking a note there. I was probably saying the word providing and wrote that instead.
It's a good one. We'll use it.
Yeah. And then the third point was just that kind of copywriting technique. So adding the word, thanks to our friend Claire Pelletreau, adding the word "so that" between your two sentences. So starting with a mystery around what you want, and then adding "so that" and explaining why they want it, following it up with "so that." And then, of course, Jenna's last point, just about, being really consistent with all of this and adopting it as just a lifestyle change for your business. And, just showing up, being devoted to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And really just making sure that I think just key is just really making sure that it's something that you damn love, because if it's not.
Yeah. That's a really good point that we haven't even discussed yet. But yeah, you've got to be passionate about it. Otherwise, selling will be really hard, because you won't care about whatever you're offering. And I know I've worked for companies before where I haven't really been behind the product, and it's been really hard to market it. Yeah, because I thought, just don't really care, which is a horrible thing. But now working in my own business, I love it, and I genuinely know it's going to help people. So that's going to remove a huge block for you if you're struggling with putting it out there. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Really good point. I love it.
Yeah. And I just want to end again with the quote that I shared at the start, because I just think it's a really nice kind of thing to wrap up on. And that's that we either sell our souls or we sell from our souls.
Yes.
So just coming back to being real and authentic and connecting in a genuine way, and you'll succeed by coming from that place.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really great quote. I love it. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks everyone for being here today. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Hayley and I are going to try and make some more regular talks as well, so we hope that we can continuously give you guys some great info.
Yeah.
As we go.
And, if you love these videos, please let us know. Like, share a comment below. Let us know what you've learned, what you've taken away. Whether or not we continue to go ahead with, creating these videos, or like, changing direction with them a little bit or something like that, or even just topics, all comes from you and the feedback that you kind of give to
us. Let us know,
so just help us to understand whether we're on the right track and we're giving you, information that you find really valuable too, because at the end of the day, that's why we're doing it. So it's got to be useful to you. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here. And we'll catch you next time.
Okay, see you everyone. Bye.